Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. This is Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J. With me tonight, Kaliko Yachts.
Oh,
I
baby.
mean, I'm still a weekend after being Taker, and I'm happy.
You got
And
that
my son is sitting here
Taker
yelling,
voice.
"Adam Cole, baby, life is good." Yeah,
Shout out to Kaliko's son. And we
yes,
will be
Adam.
We will be joined later by Scooter Dust and hopefully Mitch Mayhem. But for right now, it's a great day for wrestling. And
Great week for wrestling. Jesus.
I know it's been a crazy week with loads of stuff happening. I'm not sure we could cover it all, but we're gonna try and cover a lot of it right now. Um, at the Evolution Revolution paid preview on Saturday, AEW revealed that Dynamite would have a Blood and Guts uh theme in 2 weeks, which was a conference call comment from Vince McMahon. Now it's a TV show. What are your thoughts on that, Kaliko?
They look.
I mean, that just tells you. I mean, TNT. Well, TNT's all in. I mean, on AEW, and that's a good thing because people give checks and so on and so forth. So I got nothing against it. And considering that they're on a network where the two biggest shows are theirs and inside the NBA, so they don't really have that much competition. They have all the leverage, and TNT's just showing you their commitment, which is great.
It's for like a TV special type thing, yeah. Obviously they're doing some type of war games on the show. Um, but do you think it's maybe the best idea or the smartest idea to name your TV special after something the boss of the competition said that you are?
They look.
Well, I mean, it just shows. They named war games wars. So I mean, what's the difference? There's nothing new under the sun.
No, it's not. Well, first and foremost, the name does kind of suck. I mean, even Paul Heyman and ECW back in the day, I don't think would ever call one of his paid previews Blood and Guts. Um, but it seems like it's just sometimes AEW could just be a meme of a wrestling company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but there's only so many names they could go with because WWE owns 99% of them.
Also, coming out of this Monday Night Raw, lots of new things happened. We found out what was in Eric Rowan's cage. Turns out it was just a big a mechanical spider. I thought it was more for a fucking stunt, so I'm out a couple bucks.
Well, I thought it was something else, but people are like, it's just a spider. I'm like, it's family friendly. What were you expecting? Like
It
a
could have
real
been a hat.
tarantula in there? I mean, it's better than a gerbil.
Oh, what kind of gerbil?
Any gerbil.
Yeah, that would have been a little less menacing, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same company that had Katie Vick. Come on. Anywhere but up after that.
And on that same show, Randy Orton cut probably one of the best promos I've heard in quite a while, and then RKO'd Beth Phoenix. What were your thoughts on this segment?
I felt like he was preaching. Like it was it Usually Randy is not like the greatest promo dude, but that felt like straight from the heart. Like it was like based in real life type of stuff. So I got to give him kudos for that. You could really like believe what he was saying. So I have, nothing but the utmost respect for him. Also, I'm going to meet him at Access, so I'll let him know that in person. But to me, he's like the Tim Duncan of WWE. His name doesn't get mentioned as much, but he's really good. You better throw your roses to him while he's here.
I always kind of felt like Randy Orton was, he doesn't talk all that much, but when he does have something to say, you listen. Kind of like Jake the Snake Roberts, who is now officially a part of AEW. After the Cody MJF fiasco, Jake made an appearance and told Cody he's out for his pie. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Jake being there, they forgot to tell him to take off his Hall of Fame ring. I know that for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what he does. But I have I have an issue with AEW, but more with their audio. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, Jake being there gives it some kind of credibility. Cody can't go for the belt, so they're just giving him shit to do. So I guess, I mean, he's the story guy, so he goes with the story.
If he's just on-air talent, that's fine. But if Jake Roberts, if they have him in some degree of creative or helping the guys with promos and storyline-wise, I think he might be an invaluable asset to the company. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it depends on what they do with it. So, I mean, the fact that he shot on Arn Anderson, that tells you that it's going to be something personal between them two. So, I mean, that's the investment alone, just seeing those two guys. Because, you think of them and you think of like WCW, early 80s WWE, for those who are old enough. And it's weird that they never got the clash. Right. It's really weird that it's kind of awkward that they didn't clash. You would have thought that they had at least one match. There's not a match that I think of that they had. But, I mean, I think that's just on the way to get Luke Harper there, right? Or Brody Lee. Let me say Brody Lee. Brody
Lee. Okay.
Yes.
I've been hearing that name thrown around a little while, and I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, that's Luke Harper. He's going back to his indie name, Brody Lee.
Okay. Also, Shayna Baszler might not make it to WrestleMania. Reports are saying that Vince McMahon was not impressed with her performance on Monday Night Raw. We've been seeing Vince McMahon fall out of love with a couple of guys now. Do you think Shayna has a shot to get to WrestleMania, or do you think that she may not get there yet?
I mean, it's one match, and I give it to them that they tried to go with someone who she's comfortable with, and Kyrie, because they've had some damn wars on TakeOver. But I feel like wrestling in NXT is, even though it's the same script, the same format and everything, wrestling in NXT is a little bit different than wrestling on the Raw and SmackDown roster. I mean, with the exception of a pay-per-view, because the only reason that they even get to do the pay-per-views, the only reason the pay-per-views matches are fire is because they're not under a TV restraint. So they don't have to put in a sponsorship here, or they don't have to, you know what I mean? It's like little shit that they have to look for. And that's her first match on the main roster where she's like running around actually looking at the clock oh my God, not looking at the clock WWE wise, but looking at the clock where it's like, okay, this is a commercial break. This is, she wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
So
The time
she's got,
constraints.
right, the time constraints. So they're trying to do the best they can with what they got. And that doesn't sound like I mean, people gonna think it's a homer, but I'm like, yo, if this is your first time doing it, like it's gonna be a couple of hiccups. But I expect Shayna to make it because hell, I mean, they had her bite Becky's neck off for crying out loud. Like somebody gotta pay for that shit.
If Shayna doesn't make it, I wouldn't be mad if Ruby Riott takes that spot.
Too early. I like Ruby. I love Ruby. Ruby is like, to me, I feel like they're gonna mess around and make her like the Natalia of this generation.
Oh
like
God, no! I hope
if they're
not.
not, and not Natalia in a sense of like her
Her role in the
personality
company.
or her character,
Yeah.
but in the sense of she's gonna be unsung, and she's gonna have like a gang of matches where it's like no one really, you know what I mean?
I hope that's not the
Like
case.
this, I hope not either because they got like this is where that point where it's like they got too many women, and they have a solid roster, but they don't. They have a pretty talented women's roster, but they don't. They're top heavy with the women's roster. Like if you ain't got the belt, you're not really like
Yes.
involved in anything, right? So they need to do a better job of making us care. Because think about it, Kyrie and Asuka had the tag titles, and there is no tag teams going for the tag titles. So it kind
Right.
of feels like a moot point to get the belts all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to me, that was just. I mean, when they gave it to Sasha and Bailey, they should have let them have a reign with it to solidify it. But they dropped it like months later, so it's
Or
what I mean.
even the Iconics.
Yeah, even the Iconics, yeah. So yeah, it's just weird.
Shayna might not make it to WrestleMania. Ruby might not make it to WrestleMania. Nobody might not make it to WrestleMania because the coronavirus. It's been reported that there's been a couple cases in Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
and with WrestleMania just around the corner, the possibility of the show being canceled is very, very
zero,
real.
zero, because they just released an email because they had I knew a guy that had a customer. He was talking and he emailed WWE, and WWE said it's going on as planned. So
Yeah, at this very moment, a month away, but you know,
nah,
for
I
this,
think unless it's like and that's what I think they're gonna go with it. Unless it's something where it's like a hell of an outbreak. Because right now we're at 150. I want to say 140, 150. So I mean, you got events in America like South by Southwest. That's a big music and technology conference in Austin, and they canceled that. Coachella might be getting canceled, but I mean, WWE said we're going on this plan.
um, yeah, but we will see if they actually stay with it. Um,
I bet you they will. The Fox money tells me they will.
you know what? You're probably right about that. And the last bit of news before we go on to the show, MJF during a autograph signing flipped off a kid. Your thoughts?
Don't get mad to go talk to the snake and then cry when the snake bites you.
You know,
But what made it But you know what made it worse was the dad made it worse. Like if the dad had have been like, "Oh man, that's cool. MJF flipped you off, man. You will never forget." If he had have had the kid own it and like let him know, "Hey, this is what happens. He's in character. It's pretty cool though," type deal. It would have been cool. But what happened is that the dad went on social media and tried to complained and he got roasted and now is making his kid look like he's making his kid look more like a bitch because he tried to defend him up and he was a bitch.
Right. I mean, you're even Cody said you when you go to see MJF, you are going to see MJF,
Oh
not
yeah.
a watered down version of him.
Yeah, not even. And what makes it worse is when he said, "Fuck them kids." That was even better. Fuck them kids. I got a kid and I'm like, fuck them kids.
It's I mean, when you pro wrestling is like one of those only phenomenons where when you actually go see that superstar, like for instance, when you went to see Undertaker, you didn't see Mark Calloway, you saw the Undertaker. That
nah,
character.
that was Mark Calloway. He just was trust me, he was Mark.
But what I'm trying to get at is you're seeing that character as is. It's not
Right.
the person that's playing that character.
I think the better analogy would be like if you go see Daryl from The Walking Dead. It's not going to be Daryl from The Walking Dead. It's going to be Norman Reedus, not Daryl. So I think that would be the better analogy. It's like, people when they go see these actors and stuff, you're not going to go see the actual character. You're just going to see the actor.
You're not seeing Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you're seeing Mark Hamill, not Luke Skywalker.
Right. Alright. And that will conclude a great day for wrestling.